Hi everyone. Today I wanted to do a video and just sort of share some of my own experience in the hopes that it can be helpful. I don't by any means consider myself to be an expert on anything. The real point of these videos is more about being of service to other people, outreach. I see life as being sort of an exchange of ideas and experiences we can learn from each other and from really most anyone that we encounter. So these videos are really related to me just kind of offering my observations, patterns that I see, and things that I've found helpful in the work that I do. And the thing I wanted to talk about, and I've referenced before, it's about learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Really, life is about pushing your limits, expanding your awareness, your understanding, your patterns of being, and all of that work is extremely uncomfortable. It's stressful. It can actually feel pretty awful when we're doing it. So growth itself is not necessarily this sunshine rainbow process. It can feel kind of brutal when we're in the crux of it. And the thing I wanted to share was just an experience I had some weeks ago. I attended a training, and how that came about was interesting in itself. It definitely, for me, showed me I was meant to be there. But the facilitator is a healer who conducted the training, and I was really drawn to her. And at the end of the training, we're just chatting, and she couldn't help herself, but she ended up, I could tell that she was reading some of my energy, and I had a great sense that she had answers for me, and so I ended up contacting her later. I'm a big supporter and a big proponent of people doing work, especially if they feel nudged or really feel drawn to a person, to really honor that and seek that out. There can be sometimes scheduling, maybe even financial limitations to doing that type of work, but I always feel like it's worth that effort. And so I ended up scheduling with her. She identifies herself as a shaman, and I went and did a session with her, and it was fun. It was kind of curious and interesting, because she asked me what I was hoping to get from that time with her, and I didn't necessarily have a specific agenda, but what I did hear myself say was that I knew she had answers to questions I had, and that she had answers to questions I didn't realize I had. And then I was just sort of chuckling inside, because sometimes I don't know if other people resonate with this, like you see, hear, and observe yourself doing and saying things, and then later you're kind of like, what was that? Like, I don't even know where that came from. So the invite in this session was just to have an allowing for whatever needed to come forward. And the process was great. It was really insightful time. There's a lot of emotionality that popped up. I laughed a lot in it, and then I left, and I kind of noticed as I was leaving that I just felt kind of funky. It had been a busy day, and so I just felt like my eating had been off. I was kind of in a hurry earlier before the appointment, so I just attributed it to this kind of being off my norm. And then later that night, I awoke in the middle of the night, and I was really sweaty, and it was really nauseous, and I thought, oh man, there might be like a stomach bug or something going on. Like, I was feeling really gross. And the next day I woke up and I was feeling a little bit better. Nothing really ever materialized, so I just kind of was like, whatever. And then I started noticing, though, in the couple days after the appointment, like huge shifts. Sometimes I should say, throughout the day, randomly, I would just get like dizzy. There's times that I would just feel all of a sudden really, really fatigued, be yawning and yawning. There's times that I noticed like just this nausea that would roll in, and just sudden intense headaches. And I started to realize that this was an illness, that likely these were side effects. And I did a little bit of research, because this is the first time that I had personally experienced such significant somatic, physical, kind of emotional stirrings following something like this. So I had misattributed it to potential illness, but even in the trauma work I do in practice, this stuff tends to pop up. So it took me a while, but I started to realize, this is something else. And so what I really realized was that the work I did, though it didn't feel as intensive in session, really did a lot to shift my energy. And that can be really hard. Like, if you consider yourself as an energetic being, like when you're working with your body, when you're working with emotions, when you're working with your rational brain, your spirituality, when you make a big leap, it can actually have side effects. Like you can feel kind of terrible for a while. And it's really important to sort of allow and embrace that part. Not that you have to like it, but just to really understand that's part of the growth process, that we have to learn sometimes that's a necessary part of being, and find ways to kind of cope and just breathe through it. So resting, drinking water, really trying to allow for more downtime, just to kind of let the space and time for your body, your mind, your energy to accommodate the work that was just done. Like it has to go kind of through all of those levels before it's fully integrated, can be uncomfortable, and just to allow for it, sort of like we do self-care when we're sick. And then you emerge, depending on probably what got stirred up, activated, processed, your responses to these type of things can really differ by each session. So it's not like this is always going to be the side effects, but sometimes noting that it can be, and noting how you best cope and how you best support yourself through these processes versus like maybe resisting doing them, or getting really frustrated with not feeling good. Like sometimes we're just not meant to always be in a space of peace. Like it's just kind of the doorway we have to go through to get to the other side of really growing and learning and integrating all of this. So my goal really from this video was just to kind of share this personal experience. The funny thing, for those who have actually watched maybe any of my prior videos, I have made random mentions about my discomfort in doing these, that it's not within my normal wheelhouse of being, that I actively resist videos. And it's something that actually emerged in session, where the healer that I was talking to could communicate with my guide. And there was a moment which was really funny for me, because the guide got a little sassy and told the healer that I act as though I'm being punished by doing these videos. And so that was relayed back to me, and when I heard that, I actually burst out laughing, because it's pretty valid. I could see how that could be interpreted that way. I have, again, a lot of discomfort in doing these videos. I have a blog that I embrace. I like to do that. But what I wanted to share that I didn't understand and know is that though I had an awareness of my discomfort and my resistance to doing this type of work, as well as the understanding that I keep getting nudged to keep doing it, that it's about putting my energy out, and being of service, and trying to send messages and my knowledge and healing, or whatever, just my energy, to anyone that might be in a receiving mode. And those in the receiving modes will find this video, and those not in the receiving mode or not on this same vibrational level, not mean that I'm higher, but who's not resonating with me probably won't come across these videos. But the thing that was so funny and so interesting was, when this got communicated, what really came out of it was, this is a past life block. I have no awareness of this, but the healer, who's able to access and kind of read records and see that, informed me that there was a past life at one time where I was a supporter of a leader, a pretty prominent leader, and something happened out of my control, some decision made by the leader that caused me in that lifetime to be casted into the spotlight, and I was neither prepared nor resourced to manage that, and it was a really negative experience where apparently I was scapegoated, and there were incidences where people were really vile and nasty to me, throwing things at me, saying hateful things, and I was kind of the fall person for whatever had transpired. And that has carried forth into this life where I'm very resistant to doing this out of fear of being again put sort of out on stage. But then the healer noted that one, the videos are not the same, that it's not the expectation in this lifetime that I have to be on stage. So the resistance to that can dissipate, like that's not going to happen. And to that, in this lifetime, I'm both educated and resourced. So these videos are really flowing from a knowledge base that I have experienced and are meant to just be helpful. I'm not attempting to perform. As you can likely see, I do not have any sort of crazy staging. There's no hair and makeup, but there's no production company behind me trying to make these videos more tantalizing, entertaining with graphics and me looking like, a celebrity. Is just sort of little me sitting in my office here at my practice, talking to a camera, feeling kind of sheepish at times, but just having this really full-hearted desire to be of service to others and doing these videos with some random hope that it might benefit someone somewhere at some point in time. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was funny because, like I said, I've shared in prior videos my discomfort with this. And then also in the reading, the healing session with this person, it was communicated to me that I was essentially told by my guide to get over it. And I laughed, as I am now, and that I just need to let go. Like, this is a different deal. And the healer had me hold certain crystals and did some energy work to kind of shift this hurt from that life out of my way, like really seeing this as kind of something that needed to be cleared and removed because it was an obstacle and it was not serving me. It wasn't serving my purpose. And so likely, even though in session I had a sense of movement, because it activated so much probably hurt and pain from this and some other things that were discussed, like the side effects of that session were pretty significant. And 3 days, 4 days out, I feel great actually, and had a huge surge of creativity, kind of a rekindled desire to do these again because I was sort of falling away from doing them, resisting it, distracting with other things going on. And I had just a greater awareness that I don't need to have a production team. I've been encouraged to spice up the videos with like different things, but what the message really was to do what I'm doing, which is really to kind of do these unscripted, to just talk. And what needs to come forth will come forth, and hopefully resonate with someone who's needing this information somewhere, even if again is one person. So again, the purpose of this video was just to kind of, I guess, go off the grid in the way that I've been doing the prior videos and really start to incorporate, I think, me into them and just share my experience. I feel like I do that a lot anyway. I like to use stories to help normalize for people that we all struggle. We all have things that we're trying to work through and feel lost with, and that's part of this journey. We're just learning, and learning is about being open. It's about the willingness to, sometimes do these sessions, to face these fears and these emotionalities, to sit with that stuff, to work through it, to feel uncomfortable after if you have side effects from a session, and to really integrate all of that, because that's the stuff. That's where we grow. That's where we learn. That's where we progress, not only in this lifetime, but in just kind of our overall being. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it resonates with you on some level. You probably have your own experiences that, you felt similarly, and that was it. So I wish you the greatest days. Bye.